final race of the year. This is the last event of this decade. Welcome to the north of Italy. It is cold, it is overcast. The rain has stopped and we are ready to race what will be 4 cracking finals to end the WSK season for 2019. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the WSK Final Cup here at Adria Karting Raceway. This is the final event of this 2019 season, the WSK Final Cup that was first held here at the world-class Adria Karting Raceway in 2014. 223 drivers here this weekend. Indeed, we have had 63 nations represented throughout what has been a fantastic WSK 2019 season. But as we prepare to race the first of our 4 finals this afternoon, it's the local, the Italian, Andrea Antonelli, who lines up on pole position. Well, the weather has been the talking point of the weekend. You can see it has stopped raining. The wind has picked up. It is still quite cool here in the north of Italy, south of Venice. So before we do race the final, let's take a look at the highlights of what has happened thus far this week, the WSK Final Cup here at Adria. Grey, gloomy, overcast skies all weekend. Indeed, the heats were dominated by the weather. Andrea Antonelli, he didn't qualify on pole position. That honour went to the Russian Nikita Bertrand. However, Antonelli took 4 heat wins from 4 starts. Bertrand continuing his great form from Castelletto di Branduzzo last weekend. So quick in the wet. He won his pre-final, particularly in greasy conditions, showing his skill in the energy kart, and he will start alongside Antonelli in just a moment. The American Uga Chukwu 327 has been in great form also on his home circuit. Brando, by the way, you just got a glimpse of the young Italian, the second generation racer 307, his countryman 359. Christian Bertrand also in contention for the victory this afternoon. This is the circuit, it's the 6th time we have raced this event at the Adria Karting Raceway. We are about an hour south of Venice, the ancient city, up on the Adriatic coast, which is underwater. You've seen the news. The news broadcast, Reuters, BBC, CNN, yes, Piazza Sarbanco. You can actually swim in the main square of Venice. The high water mark, Acqua Alta, 1.60 meters up in Venice, nearby Chioggia, the town where a lot of the teams are staying. Even the hotels there are flooded. The rain has passed though. We are preparing to race. It is a wet track. It has stopped. We are on wet tyres as you take a look at the pole sitter, the newly crowned WSK Open Cup champion from a week ago, Castelletto di Branduzzo. He also won this year's WSK Euro Series. Andrea Antonelli 301 for Team Rosberg, taking the fight up to the Italian Bertrand. The Dutchman 376, the energy kart, absolutely hooked up in these difficult conditions. Bertrand on the outside of the front row of the grid. Indeed, on a greasy track, it's no big disadvantage to take the momentum around the outside. 3-2-0 from Belgorod down on the Ukrainian border in southern Russia. Nikita Bertrand, fastest qualifier on Friday, the inside of the second row of the grid, alongside Jimmy James Wharton from Melbourne, Australia. It is bitterly cold here in the north of Italy. In James' hometown of Melbourne, they're fighting bushfires as they come into the summer season. He starts on the second row of the grid. This is Martini Stensone, the second Team Rosberg driver, 302 from Oslo in Norway. On the inside of the third row of the grid alongside the Londoner, Arvid Lindblad 305. Remember, Lonato, the WSK Open Cup 3 weeks ago, he took the checkered flag first when they finished 5 wide at South Garda Karting, only to receive a nose cone penalty. Timek Kuharczyk, the pole on the 4th row of the grid, alongside Uga Chukwu for Ricky Flynn Motorsport. All the way from the USA, 327, that's Ugo from New York for the RFM team. the reigning Junior World Championship winning team. 4 times RFM have taken that title. As the board goes up, you look at Alfio Spinner, Il Siciliano, Team Cettila Performance Racing, Kart Republic 306, former WSK champion, that was in the mini category. Alongside him is Lorenzo Resico for Team Pantano, the newly formed team in the last few days of Giorgio Pantano. His mechanic, Piero Sapanaro, about to push him into life. On the 5th row of the grid as the green flag flies, and we're ready to race the OK Junior Final. Welcome to Adria. Welcome to the last event of the season, 2019. It started here with the Champions Cup on the 27th of January, and it ends here right now. This is the grid. Antonelli, Tahan, Bertrand and Jimmy James, Martinez and Arvid Lindblad, Timo Kuhacek, Ugo Ukachuko, Alfio Spinner, and Lorenzo Resico, the Italians on the 5th row. Then it's Artem Severukian, Alessandro Cenedese playing at home this weekend, Christian Cannibal Bertuca, and the Singaporean in the Sauber, Christian Ho, Conrad Lawson, Brando Badoer, Casper Stuk and Charlie Wirtz, the 2 sons of F1 racers, Brando Badoer and Charlie Wirtz, start in front of each other. Kasper Stuka, Karol Pashovic, the pole. Alexander Kubenko from Brazil. Oh, menino! It's Matias Ferreira and Miron Pingasov. Patrick Hakala, Henry Michael Saskalati, the 2 Finns, Maxim Soldatov, Igor Chepel. Silverholm comes through after a storming drive, being turned around in the pre-final earlier this morning. He's alongside the Peruvian from Lima, Rafael Modanese, Matteo De Paolo, Vladislav Ryabov, Duka Tappen and Maxwell Dodds. For Forza Racing just flashing by the Englishman, 329, the back of the pack. It's Mflak looking to attack the track for the final time in 2019 from the Gold Coast in Australia. He's alongside Flavio Olivieri, 34 junior karts on the circuit, 33 because one of them running very wide, Saskalati. Silver helmet was in fact no harm done. Temperature into the Vega, wet tires, remember. The track is predominantly dry but very greasy. We're on the Vega wets. Welcome to Adria, welcome to the north of Italy. Welcome to the WSK Final Cup, the final race of this decade. Antonelli on pole position. This will be dynamite. "16 laps, 20 kilometers. Ian Silvestrin with you here at Adria for the final time this season. Can Antonelli add another WSK title to his impressive championship season? We'll wait another lap because we go around one more time. Another formation lap. Still some spray coming off the Vega tires, even on the racing line. Off the line, no chance. It is still very, very damp. It will improve as the afternoon goes on. The critical turning point will be when we make the change to slicks, if at all, this afternoon. Still quite cool here in the north of Italy. Only about 11 degrees Celsius. You can see the standing water on the outside of the circuit. Antonelli, 1. Dahan, 2. Kart Republic Energy. Tony Kart, the second row of the grid with Bertrand. And the Paralin of James Wharton. The sky clearing in the background as we look north towards the city of Venice, just about 10 or 12 kilometers from the Adriatic coast. Once again, we welcome you to Adria, the WSK Final Cup for 2019. As I say, the season started here on the January the 27th, and it ends here right now. The junior final, the last WSK title of the season. race. Dahan tries the outside line. What a start by the ruthless racing Russian. Nikita Bertrand slams it down the inside. He leads the opening lap of the race. They're 5 wide, and that's off the track. Antonelli into second. Behind him, his teammate Martinez Tensone. Ugo just a spot behind Jimmy James Wharton. Resico, Pertuca, the 2 Italians coming to grief with Bertz and also Gubenko, Matias Ferreira, but they've all continued on. Those 5 drivers mentioned running off the circuit, but we've had 34 starters and 34 still in the race. Being led by the Russian, the fastest qualifier on a track which was in a similar state of condition 48 hours ago. Tony Kart Racing team driver from southern Russia, powered by the Vortex, will lead the field round for the first time. Being hounded by the team Rosberg, Kart Republics, Antonelli and Martinez Tensone. Ugo in P4 as Bertrand runs off the circuit. Keeps it together. He's got half a second after the first lap. Antonelli will set out after catching him. Resico up into P5. He's the second Italian. And it's Kuharczyk. He's got by Wharton, who's fallen back to 7th place. Spinner, Bertuca, and Artem Severukian. The Russian driver from Yekaterinburg rounds out the 10. 2 drives off the circuit. One of them being Wharton. So Kuharczyk, the 2 parallels. As Antonelli now hones in on the back of Bertrand. Ugo, so close to the back of the Norwegian. For Ricky Flynn Motorsports. The American in P4, looking to split the team Rosberg Kart Republics. It's a Tony Kart who leads the way with Bertrand. It is getting ragged further behind. There's Alfio Spinner, just ahead of Christian Bertuca. Kasper Stuka not too far back. Robert Dahan from the front row of the grid, the Dutchman in position 13. It's virtually all over already for Robert Dahan unless he can do something spectacular. In the remaining 14 laps after 2, it's Bertrand from Antonelli who's coming for him. The gap already down to 0.3 of a second, as you can see on your screen. The WSK Final Cup. This is the junior race as Ugo still tries to find a way past the Norwegian. The track is 10 meters wide, and Martinez makes the American think it's in fact 11. He cannot get by. Back to Kuharczyk. The pole in P5. He's now the top parallel as Wharton falls back to 10th. He's a spot ahead of Robert Dahan. He's in 11th place ahead of Lindblad, Chenadese, Charlie Verts. William Silverholm, what a start by the Swede. From the back of the grid, from being turned around in the pre-final, from having to restart and push start himself, he's up into 15th. From grid 28, he's passed 13 karts in 3 laps. As Wertz going through ahead of Silverholm, Stuka, Ho, Lawson, Badoer, Gubenko, Soldatov, the 2 Russians together, rounding out the top 20. Antonelli, the gap stays the same. Nikita wants to take the victory, and Ugo still cannot get up onto the podium. Martinez Tensone, who beat Andrea Antonelli to the Supermaster Series title last year. That was in 60 Mini. Racing in juniors now, it's Andrea P2. His teammate as of last weekend. Martinez in 3rd place. Nico himself turned up at Castelletto. And come Saturday morning, Martinez was wearing the colours of Ravenol Team Rosberg in the Kart Republic 302. Holding off the American, and Kuharczyk is catching the both of them. Down to 1/10 of a second, Antonelli around the outside. He takes the lead. It's looking ominous. Andrea Antonelli, P1, recovers from the start. Bertrand back to 2. Can the Russian respond on the back of the Italian? Lap 5 of the final. Still Tensone in P3. Team Rosberg Kart Republic, 1st and 3rd. Split by the Tony Kart of Nikita Bertrand. Antonelli looks behind. Nikita, 0.2 of a second, about 3 kart lengths. as they go into the sweeper at the far part of the circuit, the final cup here at Adria Karting Raceway. The title won, ironically, by a Kart Republic 12 months ago. That was Taylor Barnard. Let's take a look at the replay. Down into turn number 1. He'd already gone through. Bertrand tried to fight back. Antonelli simply held high IndyCar style. There is grip as the track gently starts to dry here at Adria Raceway. Kart Republic taking the title 12 months ago with the Englishman Taylor Barnard, who is racing with us, of course, again later this afternoon in the OK final. He will start out at grid 8 for the fourth of our finals this afternoon. We go back to 2015, and the winner was Frederick Vesti, who has just finished 10th in the Macau Formula 3 Grand Prix earlier this morning. He took the 2015 title for Forza Racing, and of course, he dominated the inaugural, the brand new FIA Formula Regional European F3 Championship for Prema Power Team. Frederick winning it in 2015. Victor Martins a year later. Roman Stanek, the Czech, who raced in the Italian F4 Championship powered by Abarth. He took the title in a Vortex-powered Cosmic Kart. Last year it was Taylor Barnard in the Kart Republic. And leading this afternoon also in a Kart Republic, it's Andrea Antonelli. He's now pulling away from Bertrand. A 1:04.5 versus a 1:05.1. He's 0.6 of a second faster than the Russian, who did take pole position in qualifying 48 hours ago. 10 laps remaining in the junior final. He won the WSK Euro Series in 2019. He wrapped up the Open Cup 7 days ago at Castelletto di Branduzzo. He leads, he's pulling away. The gap is 1 second. They have got no answer for the Italian, this superstar, the Mercedes AMG Junior, driving for Team Ravenol Rosberg. The Kart Republic, his team manager, Dino Chiesa, watching on from pit lane as still Ugo tries to find a way past Martinez Stensone. Ugo passed into position number 3 if he can get by the Norwegian. But the pole right behind him, that's Timek Kuhacik. The 315 paralleling down through the Magny-Cours chicane. The wind picks up, the track is drying. The junior final we approach. Half race distance. There is Ugo Chuko. Down the inside goes the American. Can he hold it? This time he forces his way by in the Ricky Flynn Motorsport kart. Up into third place, up onto the podium. In the 327 machine, watch Kuhacik trying to capitalize on Martinez as Ugo goes wide. There's grip offline. As I say, the track is 10 meters wide. It's 1.3 kilometers, 1 lap. But it was so long, a full 7 laps before he could force his way past the Norwegian. Martinez falls off the podium and now falls into the clutches of Timek Kuhacik. The 315 Paralin. There is the pole. Lorenzo Resico for Team Pantano, the brand new team of the former European champion, Giorgio Pantano. Resico, as Kuhacik goes by. Stensone gets him on the way back. The third generation racer from Oslo in Norway. And there is Ugo. He's into position 3. Can he close the gap? And that's a huge ask because Bertrand is 5 seconds up the road. There's Resico. Brand new team of Giorgio Pantano, European champion, Jordan Formula 1 driver, champion, multiple race winner, arguably the most successful ever driver in GP2 Formula 3000. That's Giorgio, his brand new team. His young charger, 354, the Kart Republic. Lorenzo Resico not far off this battle. He's in 6th ahead of Severukian. Robert Tahan recovering. Remember, he started on grid 2. Fell back to 12th. He's now in 8th from Spinner, Lindblad, Wharton, Chenadese, Silverholm. After that great start, finds the going a little bit harder as he's into 13th from Bertuca and Charlie Burtz in position 15. Half race distance we've passed again. Kuhacik down the inside into the chicane. Martinez gets him back. Look at that! Taps his helmet. Martinez not happy about that. the quietly spoken Norwegian, simply telling Timek, play it smart. Martinius, I'd suggest, really not happy, but he's behind the pole. Here comes Resico trying to join in as Hugo starts to skip away. There's Robert Tahan. Can he at least salvage a podium out of this? Severukian, 3-3-2. From Yekaterinburg in Russia for Ward Racing. The fight for the final step of the podium, Ugachuku, Kuhacic, Stensone, Resico, Severukian. And from the front row of the grid, the Dutchman, Robert Tahan in the energy cart. 6 laps remaining at the end of this one. We wait for Andrea to cross the start-finish line. Here he comes, the boy from the city of Bologna. Only about an hour's drive from the Adria circuit. That was Nikita going through. Ugachuku, Kuhacic, Stensone, Resico. Good drive from Alfio Spinner, behind Tahan. Wharton now inside the top 10. William Silverholm with the fastest third sector of the entire race. Incredibly, despite the very treacherous conditions on a very greasy track, out of the 34 starters, we have still got 34 runners here, which is a credit to these super talented juniors. Started with exactly 68 this weekend, 2 groups of 34. And it's been Antonelli who's been dominant from the outset, with the exception of Bertrand, who did take pole position on Friday afternoon. Down through the Magny-Cours chicane, 5 laps now remaining for Andrea Antonelli. The gap was 3.2 seconds. We wait for the Russian, who looks behind the pole sitter. 3.5, so another few tens. There is the American Hugo, who's being hounded by the pole. Timek Kuhacic, fastest lap of the race for Timek. P4, 1 step off the podium. He's caught the back of the American and just recorded a 64.346 lap time, as you can see at the bottom of your screen. Still on the Vega, wet, no standing water on the racing line, but very greasy conditions. Now doubtful if we will even see slick tyres for the OK final later this afternoon. The familiar Bell silver helmet of the driver from New York, USA, that 327 Ricky Flynn Motorsport kart, losing time now that Kuhacic has got by in P3 in the Paralin. Here's the Kart Republic. Look at the standing water on the side of the circuit. We wait for Bertrand. The gap, 4 seconds. He took half a second out of him that time. James Wharton, a purple sector, despite the fact the Australian is back in 10th place as the track does start to clear up and improve ever so slightly. Silverholm, what a drive from the Swede. He's into 11th from the back of the grid. Head of Genadese, Stuka, Bertuka, Charlie Wirtz, Maxim Soldatov, Christian Ho, Alexander Gubenko and Karol Pashovic. Another Polish driver in position 20. Antonelli skates under brakes. Magic car control for the young Italian, like a robot. He's already got the Mercedes AMG contract in his pocket. He's just a teenager and he's looking at his 3rd WSK title of 2019. Works the Kart Republic onto the straight. 3 laps now remaining. The gap, 4.1 seconds. There's Bertrand, drifts it onto the straight, looks behind him. A 104.28 for Antonelli, 5 seconds the gap. Antonelli is walking away. The final of the Final Cup this afternoon. Looking at his 3rd title for the 2019 season. 64.280. The track is improving again. Wharton with another fastest middle sector. Back in 10th place. This field of 68 this weekend. OK Junior, the last race of the season, of the decade, here at the world-class Adria Karting Raceway. 2 laps remaining, 2.5 kilometres. out of the Bridgestone hairpin, down the Vega short chute, over the Magny-Cours curbs. Magny-Cours chicane, named such, nicknamed such, does resemble the former French Formula One Grand Prix circuit, the final few corners before it was modified. More than a decade ago now, possibly closer to 2 as Nikita looks behind. A 64 dead for Bertrand, he's gone faster still. He's 2 laps away from another title here this afternoon. This is an incredible performance. Like a robot, he's the second generation racer, Andrea Antonelli. Here's Bertrand across the line, ahead of Bert, Soldatov, Ho, Gobenko, still Karel Pashovic. In 20th place, the first and thus far only retirement. I say it with a subdued voice, it's the boy from Brazil, Matias Ferreira. He has retired. Antonelli on his way to victory. The last lap board next time round. Working hard behind the wheel. Correction multiple times on the wheel every single corner. The Kart Republic hooked up. He gets the last lap board. 1.3 kilometers remaining in the 2019 season. He has a long look behind him. Cannot even see Nikita Bertrand back in second place. He does likewise. He certainly can see the pole, Timur Kuharczyk, but he's too far back as Robert Tahan too little too late. Up into 6th place, a purple sector in the energy cart. It was Martinez going wheel to wheel with Resico, Wharton, Spinner, Silverholm from the back of the grid, 28th into 11th. On his way to another WSK title for 2019. What a star! Andrea Antonelli. The far part of the circuit, the city of Bologna that bought us the Lamborghini supercar, has also produced a superstar. His name is Andrea Antonelli. He goes down through the Magny-Cours chicane for the final time. He won the WSK Euro Series. He punches the air. He took out the Open Cup sideways, drifts it. What a win! Antonelli dominates and wins the final race this decade. Bertrand across the line second, and Kuharczyk understandably delighted with 3rd place on the podium. Head of Ukachuko Severukian and Robert Tahan 6th with the fastest lap of the race on his very final tour. Antonelli 2019 is a year he will not forget. And there's much more to come from the young Italian. He has dominated not only this afternoon, but indeed the entire weekend. Antonelli wins that WSK Final Cup for Kart Republic exactly 12 months after Taylor Barnard took the win also for Dino Chiesa's Kart Republic at the end of the 2018 season. Antonelli, the WSK Euro Series champion, the Open Cup winner, the 2-round series held at South Garda Karting Lonato and last weekend at Castelletto di Branduzzo. And again, he finishes the season as the champion, the WSK Final Cup for 2019. The rain has passed, it's blown out to the Adriatic coast. We raced on a drying track on the Vega wet tyres. Antonelli takes a dominant win by 6.3 seconds over the fastest qualifier 48 hours ago. The Russian, Nikita Bertrand, and the Pole, Timur Kuharczyk. Fabulous result, 3rd in the Paralympics. Antonelli 1, Bertrand 2, Kuharczyk 3. Ugo misses the podium by 1 from another Russian, Severukian. Robert Tahan, fastest lap of the race, but after that disastrous start could only manage 6th. Resico, Jimmy James P8, a spot ahead of Alfio Spinner. Martinez Stensone falls to position 10. William Silverholm from grid 28, a storming drive to finish in 11th place. Remember his disastrous pre-final this morning. That is the effort of the weekend. 34 starters, 31 finishers. Mateo De Paulo, Alexander Gubenko, and the boy from Brazil, Matias Ferreira, the 3 retirements from the final cup this afternoon. Antonelli, the WSK Euro Series champion, the Open Cup, and he finishes the season with another victory for Team Rosberg Kart Republic here this afternoon. Antonelli wins it from Bertrand and Timur Kuharczyk. The podium presentations in just a moment for the OK Junior category here at Adria Karting Raceway, the last race of the season, the WSK Final Cup. Stay with us on wsk.it, the podium right there in just a moment. The podium presentation here this afternoon for the first of our 4 finals as the drivers make their way up to the podium for the last time in 2019. 3 different nationalities, Poland, Russia, and Italy. As the Vega caps go on the head of the 3 drivers here at Adria. In 3rd place for Paralin from Poland, Timur Kuharczyk. Second place from Russia for the Tony Kart Racing team, the fastest qualifier, Nikita Bertrand. The WSK Euro Series champion, the Open Cup winner, and another title. The winner of the final cup from Italy for Team Rosberg, Andrea Antonelli. The 3rd place trophy to Timur Kuharczyk of Poland. Second place to Nikita Bertrand of Russia. Il vincitore Andrea Antonelli. The national anthem of Italia. The podium here this afternoon, 3rd place from Poland, Timur Kuharczyk. 2nd from Russia, Nikita Bertrand. And his 3rd WSK title of the season, the Italian, Andrea Antonelli. The first of our 4 finals here from Adria. Stay with us on wsk.it. 60 mini race in just a moment.